Welcome back to another edition of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast featuring the Coaches Car Chronicles. I'm your host, Charles Inferna. We're at Forts Athletics. We provide coaches and athletes the tools they need in order to achieve their unique and specific goals. We are coming at you today on Tuesday, August 10th. Ooh, summer's almost over, which also means that college athletes and student athletes and students in general are going to be making their way back to campus within the next few weeks. Our athletes at Alfred State will come back like the 25th, 26th, something like that, and get a couple days of classes in before things really pick up after Labor Day weekend. And it's cool to record not only this stuff, but then look at feedback, and I appreciate the feedback that I've received on other videos in regards to goal setting and that whole 5-step process that I talked about last month, and a new, I guess, like storytelling feature, if that's what we'll call it for now, based on past, at least athletic experiences. From when I was a student athlete at SUNY Fredonia 17 years ago. Actually, more than that. My fall semester was the fall of 2000, so it's 21 years since I stepped foot on campus. I'm going to be 40 in February, so wow, a lot to unpack there. But it's really interesting, the storytelling piece, because I've been watching along of other post-collegiate throwers, and I guess they're retired now with families and not really throwing as much, but were really active in the 08 to 12 seasons, competing at very high level competitions as far as like world championships and trials and things like that. How powerful like the storytelling piece is with throwing, because I think it's really interesting. I shared something the other day about trying to figure out what one might want to accomplish as a student athlete at the collegiate level, and my experiences, they're solely mine, so it's my perspective of working with Division III athletes at the SUNY school and at a private school, and now back to kind of SUNY school, but more independent in regards to some of the conferences and what have you. And it's really interesting, just perspective, because we get a wide array of athletes that come on campus, and some are recruited and some just kind of walk into your door, and you never really know who's going to come in and impact your program, impact your team, impact your life for the most part, especially from a coaching perspective. And even with, let's say, some of our athletes or the athletes that I've coached in the past that just are happy to be on the team and might not necessarily have these grandiose aspirations of being national champions or conference champions or competing in conference or whatever, there's still, from what I have found, there's still a spark. There's still something that makes those athletes gravitate to your specific sport. So in our case, it's track. So athletes come on campus, they might not have been recruited to compete, they threw in high school or ran or what have you, and they're still really interested. And for those athletes who might not have the the bigger grandiose plans, let's say, I still try and pull something out in regards to why they are there to compete, why they're going to invest 10 to 15 hours of their time per week practicing for something that they might not be interested in, I don't know, at first. Like, I don't know, I don't want to say the word great, because it's all great in a certain lens and a certain perspective, because you need athletes. There's athletes that help drive your teammates. You have athletes that they might not be the fastest or the strongest, but they're the ones that you can rely on as a coach, that they're not going to miss workouts, they're not going to miss practice, they're going to get on their teammates if they decide to miss, or if they want to miss, or if they did the miss. But trying to figure out like what exactly you want to get out of the sport, and that's, I guess, maybe there'll be a focus for this week. I know we missed yesterday, today's Tuesday, but some messages for coaches and for athletes alike, of trying to figure out what exactly it is that helps those athletes gravitate to our teams and our sports, and what we could do to help nurture that environment to allow them to exceed their own expectations as well, whatever their expectations are. And regardless of if the athletes recruited, not recruited, when they come to our informational meeting, everyone gets a journal. I've talked about this before. Nice little notebook. I've stocked up on a bunch of them. So for my friends at Alfred State, everyone's going to be getting a journal and some pens. And one of the first couple things that I asked them to write about is their personal best, like what they accomplished in high school, and if they didn't compete in high school, anything else that they are interested in writing about on that first page, and some thoughts and ideas about what they're hoping to accomplish, or what they want to accomplish in college. And it might be broken down by their freshman year, sophomore, junior, whatever. So last year we had athletes that wanted to hit specific numbers as far as distances in competition, and unfortunately they didn't hit those marks, but they ended up winning conference championships along the way. So we had to dissect, the importance of, accomplishing one goal as opposed to another goal, so process versus outcome goals. But I always ask them what they want to accomplish and why it's important to them. So if you're watching this and you're going to be a college thrower, let's say, and you're going to go compete in a couple weeks, or you're going to go step foot on campus, think about why is that important to you, because I think that's the number one factor of driving athletes at that setting, especially Division III. It has to be important to them for them to want to continue to put their bodies through that pain, suffering, what have you, for the course of a season or 4 seasons. So why is it important to you? And we will continue back with this conversation tomorrow.